Okay, guys, I want to go over this first example of proof. This one's already done for you, and it's in your textbook, so you can look at it. It's in section 11.3. Um, Proofs are pretty much what you just did in the last section, where you were justifying whether it was side, side angle, side, or one of those 5 criteria. But now you're writing out each of your reasons given statements and words. So they gave you a triangles here. It says X is the midpoint of JK. So if you remember for midpoint divides two segments into two equal parts. So I always label all the given statements on the triangle before I begin my proof. So if X is the midpoint of the segment, that means that segment JX is going to be congruent to XK. So I put those marks there. And then it tells you that segment JL is congruent to segment KL. So I'm going to put 2 marks there to show that this segment is congruent to this segment. So always mark your triangle up first before you start your proof. That way you can look at the picture and see what's going on. They want you to prove that triangle JXL is congruent to triangle KXL. And here's your reasons. So the first statement should always be one of your givens. So they used X as the midpoint of JK, and that was given. And then we already did this in the picture. If X is the midpoint, then this segment is congruent to this segment. JX is congruent to XK. So I put that here. JX is congruent to KX because of definition of midpoint. And the reason why I knew it had to be KX instead of XK is because the congruent statement here, JX, and then there's KX. Those are the first 2 letters. So that means the order has to be in that order. Then I can list the next given statement. Statement JL is congruent to segment KL. A lot of the other proofs you're looking at, they're going to list both givens. The reason why I didn't list both givens first this time and I put this one in between is because we had to draw a conclusion about X being the midpoint of segment JK. We knew that this part was equal to this part. So I did that first, then I gave the second given statement. So put that down. So now you can see that we have 2 pairs of sides that are congruent. We need one more thing to be able to use one of the justifications. So the next one is LX is a shared side for both triangles. LX is part of triangle JXL and it's part of triangle KXL. So since it's a shared side, we wrote LX is congruent to LX. This was one of those properties that we went over at the beginning of the year. This was one of the ones we never used with the algebraic equations, but I said would come up with the geometric ones. So LX is congruent to LX, it's equal to itself. So that's the reflexive property. And then since you know that this side is shared, now you know all 3 sides are congruent to each other. So that means that triangle JXL is congruent to triangle KXL by side.